Okay, the impromptu book test or tests. I mean, I've put together two things here, and as I say, just with a couple of books, you've got a good 10-15 minutes of pretty high quality mentalism. And fun because, you know, if you, especially in the first routine, you have a bit of a crowd. It's nice to get them involved in this sort of way. So basically what happens is, in the first book test, what happens is somebody picks a word after you flick through a book like this. That's what it looks like. Okay. They remember the word, turn away, you get another spectator over and you ask them to try and receive the first letter. Okay. Now, obviously, in this routine, it's you, the mentalist, that knows the word. They will get the first letter wrong, and then you'll say to them, try again. And because your hair back's turned, you actually write down the letter in front of the spectator. Now that can be done in one of two ways. Openly, as I say in the write-up, so if you have an audience, they see, and it's quite good fun, that they all know that you're giving out. But you can do something which I've done before, is with a business card, I've quickly written down the word in bold after they've gotten it, pretending to write something else. So once they've done that, and I know the word, I'll explain that in a second. I say, and what's your name? So write your name, and what's your name? And I basically don't write anything down. How do you spell? I just write down the word in big letters, and I say, okay, and I make some sort of stupid excuse like okay, knowing the name, you know, it sort of helps. See, I can pretend to put that away now. I'll get back to that later, sort of thing. And then you do the whole thing, but this time your card is hidden in your hand, and your spectators here, the other spectators turning away, and you say, okay, did you get that? Did you get the first letter wrong? And then you basically just go like this with the word written here. Let's pick a word now from Philip K. Dick, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And what movie was based on that? You know? You should do. Blade Runner. Anyway, what you've done is, especially if it's totally impromptu, these books could be in someone else's house and you're visiting a party. You just sort of look through and say, oh yeah, it's a nice... and then what you're doing is basically... what you're doing is you get in the book and you go, okay, you've got a couple of books here, and I'm just looking for it's near the centre, and I'm looking for a word on the top line, and I try and pick out the longest word. Okay, I say, oh, I don't think I've read this book before. Is it good? Yeah. So basically, you're opening the book. Okay, I can see. I've got a word here. It appeared on page 135. I'm just pretending to be casual about this. So that's the word. Here is the force. Okay. I hold the book up this way, but my little finger has gone in to the book where page 135 is. Okay, the top line. Biggest word has appeared. So I close the book, but look, my little finger goes into the bottom. I can close that there and no one should notice. But my little finger is in the bottom of that book of page 135. So this is the force. If you can time the riffle so it stops exactly where your finger is, that's great. I just say stop for me. Stop. Now, if they stop me there, that's great. Sorry, if I stop at the natural break where my finger is, that's great. I just open the book, look away and say, I tell you, just read that top line. Yeah? That doesn't matter. Well, I'm saying it doesn't matter. It could be the top line of this page. I don't want to confuse you here, but you could have looked at the top line of this page on this side and still done the force and then give them that page. It doesn't really matter, okay? But once you've done that, you do have to point to which page. So in this case, it's this page. So you say, just look at the top line on that. Now, to the audience, it seems impossible. You've just gone through stopped, opened, and you're not even looking that way, and you're sort of doing this sort of thing. Just take that top line there. Now, if they stop before, don't worry. If you stop before and stop, it's not on the correct page. The way you get round that is bring your hand down slightly. The whole hand comes down and then enters the book this way at the correct page. So what you've done is your fingers there. So you've stopped. So you stop. Okay. Down. Up. Open. Dead easy. Hand comes in. Down. And back up to the correct page. The longest word on this line is appeared. Obviously you can even give the book away at this stage. And that's where the fun starts, because you've got them back to back. One spectator that way, one spectator that way. One sends the thought over. First letter, can you try and guess the first letter? E? Is it E? No. Oh, never mind. Maybe you're not such a psychic after all. Have some fun with them. Of course, if they say A and you're right, it's like, whoa, great. Anyway, A. I'm showing the A to this person. Could you send over the first letter again to see if she can get it? Okay, off you go. Have a go. Have a think. And she shouts, is it A? And then for each letter, send over the second, and you're literally writing the word down. One letter at a time. Appeared. So that's the fun. She's sending it. She's receiving. She is getting the information from you. It's just a fun thing. There was a trick which a lot of magicians know about from years ago. Well, it's not even years ago. It's still used. It's a great trick whereby the spectator sits down and you're pretending to take a napkin and you're actually throwing it over the head like this and pretending to put it into the hand, and the napkins go over the spectator's head. The whole audience sees the napkins go that way. It's fun. It's sort of a bit like that, but with mentalism. Everyone can see you writing it down. This spectator has no idea. To her, it's amazing. But remember, to the whole audience, you should not know that word anyway. So it's amazing anyway. The fact that you know it. And the fact that the spectators write it down is just a bit of extra fun. Now, that other way of doing it, as I said before, is to take a business card, like this, okay? And you've done this, bang, 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 you've got the word, it goes down, and you get them back to back. Okay, what are your names, please? Anne. Okay, Anne, what's your name? Julie. Okay. Sometimes the spelling of the word and the names can help me in terms of your connection. Oh, what a load of crap. I've just written appeared in big letters on this business card, and I thought, oh well, never mind. Put it away, but don't. Bring it out palmed, like this. So when I'm facing this spectator, she's facing this way, the other spectator is facing this way. Because I've got it quite close to me here, the whole audience behind do not see. So I can go through the whole routine with only the one spectator knowing I've written the word appeared. This can be very strong. It creates what we call a mentalism. It's called a dual reality. In other words, you know and the one spectator knows, but to this spectator and to the whole audience, it appears that this spectator is genuinely sending over the correct letters, and for some reason this spectator is guessing them correctly. As if you've given the spectator your powers temporarily, which is one of the things I often say. You know, we do have the ability to give our abilities, but only temporarily. Great fun, and the more advanced guys might, so the more experienced guys might appreciate that in terms of maybe a platform routine, a stage routine. So that's the first book test. That plays as a full routine all on its own, but because I wanted to be complete in terms of impromptu stuff, and this is the other way of doing the word thing, and it's so clever. It goes back, it's the David Hoy, the Hoy book test, and it's bold, but it's so well, it works, and the idea is you have two books, okay, you've done the same thing as before, you've sort of gone through and found your word appeared, yeah, and you know that the word appeared sorry, I'm just trying to find the same word here, is on page 135 in this book. So you're casually going through it. Oh, I don't think I've read this one. All right. Is this based on that science fiction movie, Blade Runner? So as I'm just casually doing that, I've got my big word appeared, but this time, in this sense, I must remember the page number. In this case, it's 135. Okay? So that's that. That goes down. Okay? And this is what you do. You say to a spectator, we have 2 books here, can you pick one for me please? If they pick this one, they keep it, that's great. If they pick this one, you say, thanks very much, I'll take that one. Magician's choice again, magician's choice. In other words, they get this book. And you say, we're going to try a little experiment here. I'm just going to flick through this book, and I want you to say stop for me, okay? Say stop, stop. Okay, that's 135, okay? Of course, you know it wasn't 135. I lied. That's how bold this is. Just say stop. Yeah, I'm doing the. I'm flicking in a different way as well, aren't I? I'm not doing this. I'm going from the front to the back, rather than the back to the front. So that's a different way of flicking through the book. Okay. First book test that way. Second book test that way. And you do quite fast because in terms of it's 135, so you don't want to be stopping here. Because that wouldn't not work. You've got to be clever. You've got to be sensible about it. It's got to be quite far in the book, so you start fast. Okay, just tell me to say stop, please. Stop. Okay, that's page 135. Down. Now you're really bold, and yes, I've done this as I just did before. Yes, this is 135, and I do it that fast that they don't get a chance to see the number. Later on, they say, he showed me the book. Okay, that's page 135. Could you find page 135 in that book now, please? So you've forced the number 135. You're home and dry, because once they go to 135, you say, look at the top line and pick out a word. Now remember, you pick out the longest word. So this sounds like a free choice. Pick out a word from that line. Actually, let's make it, don't make it an easy word, like and or the. In fact, look for the longest word on that line. So you're forcing the word appeared on that line. Okay? And then you can reveal that in whatever way you wish. You can write it down. The way, mentalism is about acting, of course. So the reveal is up to you. How you do it. You can write it down and show it, or you could do it like as a mind reading, one letter at a time yourself, or you can even mix and match and do the second force of the word with the 2 books and put that together with the back-to-back presentation of throwing the letters over. It doesn't matter. These are just 2 different ways of forcing a word on a spectator, which they think is a completely free choice. Okay, so that's it's worth its weight in gold, this, I think, because it's so impromptu. Over the years I've bought books from dealers, magic dealers or whatever, and they've been a pretty penny because they've been gaffed in some way that you can force certain words, and because they've been gaffed up to the hilt, they're very, very expensive. But to an audience, if you use a normal book, in a sense, not only is it a hell of a lot cheaper, it's just as effective, and it's totally examinable. The books can be examined to their heart's content. Okay, so I hope you enjoy that. That's my impromptu book tests. Thank you.